What up, YouTube? It is your boys, Clips and Drew from the Follow Through with Clips and Drew NBA podcast, doing once again another game reaction to the Clippers. We have no longer game reactions for the Lakers. We still have some for the Clippers. I know that my personal followers and Clips and Drew followers want to hear our take on that game last night, if you even want to call it a game. If anybody notices, I'm not even wearing my colors right now. If you listen to the podcast, you know I was set tripping on a guy at my house rocking a Westbrook jersey, and now I'm refusing to even wear my colors, Drew. I have a lot to say. I'm sure you do as well, but let's get something out for the people. I'm going to let you go first, Drew. I want your game reaction from last night's nightmare that the Clippers called a Game 5. Give it to me.
Well, for folks that are curious about where the reaction videos, maybe if you're catching this on YouTube, of the other Clipper games are, we actually tied those in to our full-length podcast. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you want to hear more about Clips and my thought on the series on a whole, go ahead and check out our actual podcast. You can find us wherever podcasts are downloaded. But for this particular game, Game 5, very pivotal game, and the stat that we talked about on the podcast that we just released was the winners of Game 5 in a 2-2 series. I thought it was 75%. It's like 80, 81, 82% of the winners of those games go on to win the series. So unfortunately, while this was a massive, massive game to potentially decide the series, the Clippers did not have a great performance. I don't even know. You're going to probably characterize it in a different fashion, but mostly to me, Clips, this series has really, outside of game, I believe it was Game 4, Game 3, have had similar games. So Game 1, which was a really solid performance from the Clippers, was almost a carbon copy in Game 4. Game 1 and Game 4. You look at that, Clippers go out to great leads in those two games. And, Dallas comes storming back, but can't get the job done in those games. So the Clippers take those two. Game 2 and this game, from a Clipper standpoint, were almost the same as well. The Clippers in Game 2 scored, I believe, 93 points, lost 96-93, and had a really terrible shooting night. And in this game, unfortunately for the Clippers, it wasn't 96-93. It was 123-93. The Clippers, again, had a terrible shooting night in this particular game. And the Mavericks didn't have the struggles that they had in Game 2. They were hitting pretty much everything. Kyrie Irving is on another planet right now, playing the best basketball that he's played since Cleveland. I think it's pretty fair to say that. So my reaction is this, and I'll leave it short because I want to hear your thoughts. But more so than the shooting percentages, and they were pretty terrible for the whole game. The Clippers shot 38% from the field and 26% from three. But really, it was the big boys. When you needed Paul George and you needed James Harden to step up, they did not. And in this game, unfortunately, James Harden from Philly showed up in this game, where in the last game in Game 4, he was the one that got you over the finish line. In this particular game, he was passive. He was second guessing himself. He was not aggressive in attacking, and reluctant to make the plays that you would need for him to make in order to win this game, especially when the shots weren't falling. So Paul George and James Harden combined for 22 points. And with those types of shooting outputs, that's just never going to get it done. I do just want to quickly say, I think that was in part due to how aggressive and physical the Dallas Mavericks defense was. I think this was a slightly different approach than they've taken in other games defensively. I loved PJ Washington on James Harden. I thought he did a great job, even blocked one of his floaters. But everyone on the defensive side for the Mavericks really stepped up in coordination with those Clippers just falling way short here. So that's my takeaway. I still think there's hope, right? Because the series has gone so back and forth.
Nope.
I think there's a chance that you can take Game 6, especially with like Luka, having apparently a knee injury or some sort of knee brace on now, whatever that is. But if you're going to have another shooting night like this, you're just not going to win any games. So I think you'll recover and rebound, and I think it still can be pushed to Game 7. But it's certainly going to be a really tough one tomorrow night, Friday night, when the Clippers go to face Dallas in Dallas.
I'm glad that you are hopeful, Drew, because I am not. I have lost all hope. I am tired. I'm tired of this. I am so tired. Sounds like repetition on our podcast. If you listen to our podcast, we've been doing it for 7 years. Every year at this time, I say the same thing. And you know what, Drew? I know that I referenced Seinfeld in our last podcast episode. I'm referencing again. If everything I'm doing is wrong, then the opposite must be right. If I'm going to have faith and believe in this team that I've believed in for 33 years, making the same excuses for 33 years, I've been optimistic and hopeful. I'm no longer that. I am pessimistic and I am doubtful. This was a game 5 must win. And like you said, nobody showed up. Not one freaking person. And Drew, look, I was going to give my game reaction. No, I'm going to give you guys 5 reasons why the Clippers are cooked and we're done for the season. I'm going to give it all to you right now. And I'm going to start with number 1. Actually, I'll start with number 5. We have been known for and started a trend saying poke the bear. Do not poke the bear. What do the Clippers do? Whoever put up the sign in front of crypto.com, Dallas to Cancun, should be fired. You should be fired, my friend. Who are we to be trolling anybody? Who thought that was a good idea? Let's piss off Luka a little more, who already hates us and is the best player in the NBA. Let's give him a little more fuel to the fire. Piss all of them off, right? We are not a trolling team. And as soon as I saw it, the homie B-Melt sent that to me, and I'm like, dude, we're cooked. I hate that so much. I hated it. I hated it when Paul George did the PJ shrug. I hated when Russ does the rock the baby. Can we just play basketball and not piss these guys off anymore? Whoever put that sign up should be fired. Number 4, the fans. After the game, after that horrific game and we get our ass kicked, after that game, they go up to Corey Maggette and Jeannie, who do the post-game, whatever the hell it is. They try to find something positive to talk about that game. And the first thing Jeannie says is, and Corey, man, shout out to the fans for sticking around for this game. And I'm like, you know what? First of all, they're sticking around because they paid top dollar to watch that bullshit. If that is me, excuse my language, if that is me, I am sitting in my chair and I'm waiting for an usher or the lights to go out before I'm getting my money's worth, okay? I am sitting there till the end. Another thing, the fans, it's supposed to be a whiteout. T-shirts everywhere. It's a whiteout. Ain't nobody wearing the shirts. So to me, you're not in it. This is a full package deal. The fans got to be in it too. Our fans were awful last night. And they should be awful when we're getting blown out. I get it. But wear the shirts. Okay? Put the shirts on. The first 7 rows ain't nobody wearing them. And all those people are probably just Laker fans who got money to blow and they wanted to go watch a game, or they want to go hate on the Clippers so they don't wear the shirt. I was mad as hell. Mad as hell at that. Nobody wearing the shirts. Number 3, PG, Russ, and James, like you said. I'm going to start with PG. PG, happy birthday, buddy. Hope the birthday was great. Has a terrific game 4. And guess what he does directly after game 4? Runs to go do a podcast. And he does his podcast with his friends. And he's like, man, I was just dialed in. You know, what was the quote? I'm going to put the video up here or somewhere because I got it. He's saying, I couldn't be denied, and how emotionally invested he was in that game. So were you not emotionally invested in this game? In this game 5? You know what Paul George did, Drew? His first 5 shots were the most awful, hardest looking shots you could possibly take. Nothing easy. I had to rewind one play. In the first quarter, we got the rebound. We're pushing it. We got numbers. Amir Coffey wide open in the corner, and PG just dribbles. All the team is pointing to Amir. Give it to the kid. Nah, dude, I'm going to pull back, dribble, and do some BS. We were not locked in. But I'm glad you got to get the podcast out, P. I'm glad. And I'm glad that he tells the media that, yo, we've been here before, 3-2. Nah, bro, we're cooked. You looked awful, except for the 2 threes that you got in the end there. James Harden, if you listen to our podcast, Drew, I said this. I am looking for James Harden to be non-existent in this game. I hope he's not. But he was non-existent in this game. The step back, try to get a foul on the 3, not happening. The floater, which they adjusted to, was not happening. The numbers were ridiculous. And I'm going to get to Russ in a second. But PG, Russ, and Harden combined for 8 for 36. That's 22%, man. You're the system, James Harden, right? You are the system of the down right now. And look, dog, and that's gonna be a podcast cover at some point. I'm gonna preface something really fast too. There is nobody on the planet, and I can put my stamp on this. There is nobody on the planet in podcasting. in the streets, in anywhere on social that supports these guys and goes to bat for each one of these guys on my team. I have had Paul, I'm freaking tearing up right now. I have had Paul George's back, Kawhi's back, Harden's back, even though I didn't want to do it. I've been plugging for Russell just to fucking do it for us. And they don't. They looked absolutely awful. Russell was a freaking month number. He was dude, Brian Seaman had to read this stat. He was 5 for 8 in game 1, and from 2 to 5, this dude is 4 for like 34. Okay, awful. He looks so disconnected, like he doesn't even know how to. We joked about it on our show, and it's not even a joke. He looks like he can't play basketball. If you ask him, they were begging on the Dallas bench, begging, make Russ shoot it. Make Russ shoot it. You are the former MVP, dog. Like you got, and I think they broke him mentally already. I don't know what it is with that. But those three, extremely disappointing. And you know what, Drew? Like, at least Russell tries his ass off. He did dumb things in that game yesterday, but dude, it was the 3 for 28, and then they're like 5 for 15 at the rim misses. We're talking the layups, man. And we've been talking about that all year. It's not cool. Dude, Jaden Hardy outscored James Harden this game in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. You are an all-time, they say this all the time. We got 4 Hall of Famers. You will go down as one of the greatest scorers ever. You get 7 points in a game 5, but it's not even shocking. This happens so many times.
Right.
Okay? And they were awful. Ivica Zubac, Terrence Mann, and Mason Plumlee cannot be the hardest working players on the court for your team. Give it up to those guys. And on the Dallas side, Kyrie outplayed everybody. He was played harder than every single person on that court last night. Kyrie basically showed everybody, dude, remember me? Yeah. I'm him. I'm that guy.
Yeah, he only had 14 points, but it was the defense. Like, that was really what I was very impressed with. And I know you probably want to touch on this too, but like, it seems like Kyrie and Harden are locked in to this like duel, within this game. Seems to be like a Kyrie I saw multiple times over the series, but particularly in this game, kept calling off. Like, give me Harden, right? And I know Luka was the main deal, like 35 points, all that stuff. And his 3-pointer was finally falling. But that attitude from Kyrie, we've touched on this in the past, but that seems like the reason why James Harden bounced out of the Brooklyn Nets situation so fast was because Kyrie was giving him the business in practice. And it seems like that's carried over into this series too.
I agree. He's in his gut. I love it. I loved everything I saw from Kyrie. I loved everything I saw from Dallas. They are outplaying us 100%. Their defense, like you said, has been swarming. I think it's been good defense since the first game. They adjusted to Zub getting all those buckets, and they figured it out. Jason Kidd's like, hey, guys, we just got to be way more active. And those dudes are active as hell. Let me get to the number 2 really, really fast because it ties into what you're saying. Like, this is on Ty Lue. What's up with the adjustments? You know, after Maxi Kleber gets his 3rd wide open 3-pointer in the corner, are we going to fix that? Like, are we going to adjust to that? Drew, I want the total number of how many lob alley-oops these guys have gotten on us. Have we not figured that out yet? Have we not figured out that when Luka gets Terrence or Paul or James on his hip, which he loves to do, he can walk these guys down, put them on his hip at all times. You got Jaden, or not Jaden, you got Derek and Gafford cutting to the rim. They probably had 20, Drew, like 20. Figure it out. And our guys, PG, Harden, Russ, needs to figure that out. They're getting way too many easy buckets. And last but not least, and this one hurts. This one hurts, man. And you know what? It took a lot of time for me to do this, but I'm looking at Kawhi Leonard over on the bench yet again for the 5th year in a row of just either he's hurt or PG is hurt. And like, what are we doing? If you cannot be here for us, and it's injury. I get it. If you're hurt and you can't play, you can't play. But why are we still investing all of our time into this? It's not working. I think that this is going to, the writing's on the wall that this is going to be blown up. Like, look, that's awesome. You had a great regular season. I'm glad we got 50 wins. But if you can't be here for the playoffs when we need you the most. And then there's going to be all the tweets. Well, if Kawhi was healthy, we're still talking about Phoenix last year. If Kawhi played the rest of those games, he would have won. If Kawhi was in this series, yeah, I think we'd be walking away with this if we had 100% Kawhi, but we don't, and we never do. And you know what? If you work at the busiest restaurant in town, but you tell the owner, like, I can work here, but weekends are kind of off for me. I really don't like to work the weekends. You're probably not going to get a job. If you really want that teaching job and you tell the principal, I love to teach, but guess I can only make it here by about 11:30, right? You're probably not going to get the teaching job. These guys have shit the bed so many times, and I'm over it, Drew. I'm completely over it. I have no hope in this. And it's like I was so upset last night. Obviously upset. I'm upset about the energy that we put into this game. We treated this like this could be our final game at crypto. 25 years of being in crypto, and we're going to go out like that? We're going to go out like that. Okay, James Harden. Okay, Paul George. Do you really even care? And maybe they don't, because you know what the best thing is, Drew? Is it doesn't matter what I say or you say or Clipper Nation says. It's $50 million for PG, 50 for Kawhi. And if shit doesn't work out with the Clippers, he'll go Philly. He'll be the next one to go to Philly or somewhere else. They don't care. If you had Clipper pride and really cared about, like, dude, I got 33 years of like blood, sweat, and tears into this team, and all it is a freaking letdown. Who am I fooling? You know, it is the same thing every single year. And I've been working so hard on myself and like so hard, like getting all my energy together and stuff. And I put so much energy into these guys that if you're not going to give me half-ass effort, Drew, I don't freaking care if we lose a game. We've been losing forever, but put your nuts to the wall and play your asses off. And I won't be so upset. But that shit last night, Drew, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
pathetic. And I that's great. Maybe we can win tomorrow night and
Sure.
push a game 7 back home. Maybe, but we're cooked.
Yeah.
Clips is pissed.
To me, I think you hit on something that was pretty. I don't know. It was something that was visible to me as well, where it wasn't. I think they. I wouldn't necessarily say that Harden and PG like didn't try very hard. I think they did, but it seemed like they were a little scared. Uh, and that is something that you just can't have in a star player. I don't care if it's
No.
your number one, number two. You can't be scared of the moment. And I think this is what has been called out for both Paul George and James Harden in the past. The people that do not like them or that don't rate them very highly, it comes in these moments here. And that's like the last thing that you can have. And I think that's maybe your point there too, is like you wouldn't really care if James Harden only scored 7 points, but was busting his ass on both sides of the floor. And then, the shots just weren't falling. But it didn't feel like that, really. It
No.
felt it felt like they were just kind of like, I don't really want this.
Nope.
And then, Paul George, I think, started, with a lot of bravado and like, oh, I do want this. Like, give me the ball. But then, a game gets a little bit tougher. You start missing some shots, and then it's like, oh, I don't know if I want
My
to keep.
butthole.
Yeah, I don't want to be. I don't know if I want to be the guy that's shooting
Mhm.
anymore. So
And you know who wanted to though? Who wanted all the smoke from the jump was T Man. T
yes,
Man's been taking on Luca the whole series. He's busting his ass on offense. I don't care, or on defense. I don't care if James. I would rather see James Harden and Paul George shoot 30 shots last night. You know what I mean? Shoot that shit. You are the best players on the court for us. Anybody but Russell. I mean, please. Can we be seriously, man? I mean, that was just awful. That is awful, dude.
yeah,
And I made a meme that was made. It was a real meme last night though, because he was absolutely awful. I'd rather go down like the violinists on the Titanic, playing their favorite chord. I'd rather go down with Paul George shooting 25 times and James Harden shooting 25 times. Zubac was killing in the paint last night. He was playing with super good effort. So there, from top to bottom, man, this shit needs to be handled because we're going back to Dallas. They have fuel in the tank. They
yeah,
want to finish us in Dallas. And if there is a stark difference between the fans at crypto for the Clippers and the fans in Dallas. That place, Brian Seaman even said, like that might have been the craziest environment I've ever been in for a game 4. We don't have the fan base that's going to get lit like that at all.
yeah. And I think moving forward, honestly. like I was saying, it got a little out of hand when it comes to like the last that fourth quarter, and yeah, Hardy scored 14 points right, in 5 minutes and 39 seconds. But if you just kind of look at the game before that all unraveled, outside of Luca scoring 35, this should have been a much more winnable game. I mean, Luca's 35 is massive, but Derek Jones only had 12, Kyrie only 14, Gafford 8, PJ Washington 2. But then it was Lively and Kleba. Those were the ones that really made the massive difference in this particular game, which is where I still think, Lively was 5 for 5, obviously all right at the rim. But Kleba, 5 for 7, all of those were threes. And so that's where I still think that there is an opportunity here, because Kleba's a good shooter, pretty good shooter. He's not going to shoot 83% or whatever that is.
Wide
70,
open, though. If you're going to give them wide open.
They're open. They're open.
Yeah.
So I still think there's a chance here. And the major reason is because the series has been so back and forth. It really has gone, this kind of flip-floppy way. And if there's anything that we might be a little bit reluctant to lean on, it will be the performance that will be required out of these same guys that we're talking about if the Clippers are going to force a game 7. So it has to be a much, much different experience, a much different confidence level in themselves and in the teammates around them in order for them to get that done. And so it's, I would say, obviously, with the home court advantage, the money would be on Dallas to just close the series out. But at the same time, man, what PG and Harden did just the last time they were in Dallas in Game 4 has got to be lurking in the back of the minds of all the Dallas Mavericks players. So,
but hold on. I think tonight is PG's birthday party, guys. He posted the flyer today, and guess what he did? He turned off the comments. He turned off the comments.
You're kidding me.
My boy Ernie sent it to me. If this guy, I swear to God, bro, if this guy has a birthday party tonight and I see anything on social about a birthday party tonight, I'm going to lose it. I'm literally going to lose it.
I would say that if he has a birthday party and is also sharing it on social media, he's gone, right? I think it's almost like one of those things where you can just guarantee he's not going to be on the Clippers next year. He's going to go be in Orlando or Philly or some other place. I can't imagine that happening, and then for you guys potentially to lose the series there, and then that being okay, and then he's gonna cool, let's start up the conversation on the contract again.
Yeah, what's up with the contract?
How is that gonna go?
What's up with that max deal? Braun's looking at 164. What can your boy PG get? And dude, again, I love Paul George. I love all these guys, but at this point, I'm so over it. Hold on, I'm looking at I'm seeing if the flyer is still up. This guy said he blocked all the comments. He turned comments off because guys like me would be like, oh, we're having a party the night before where our whole season's over. My internet's not working in here right now, but you get what I'm saying. Hopefully the game or the party is not tonight. I am just going to go complete George Costanza and do the complete opposite. I have no faith. Our players are going to suck. And you know what? It's another season over, which is fine. You know what? I need to stop drinking and being stressed out. I got stomach issues right now. This is what these guys are doing to me. I've never had stomach issues in my life. This is what it is. So we're going to have another podcast drop in another couple of days. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Clipper Nation, tap in. It's the follow through with Clips and Drew on YouTube. And we're Ghost.